If you're enjoying Gems with Shom, follow the show. We're just getting started. Welcome to Gems with Shom, a show about beat digging, records, and other things. Today, I'm joined by Jay Stewart. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me.
You are a music memorabilia collector, exhibit curator, music executive, and DJ. So I knew we'd have a great discussion.
Definitely. And the crazy thing is, your last two episodes, K-Cut, I'm from Queens originally.
Yeah.
So it's all about that Queens life. So I'm in the DC area now, but I'm returning. I'm really back and forth.
Well, Queens is a hell of a place to grow up when it comes to music.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
Queens get the money.
Exactly. In fact, some of my favorite music of all time has come from Queens.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
All right. So let's start there. Tell me about life growing up in Queens. What was around you musically?
Okay, well, I grew up in a beautiful place called Laurelton, Queens. And it was Queens is like, I don't want to say between heaven and hell, like, but 20 blocks that way is Long Island, and maybe 30 to 40 blocks that way you have Brooklyn. So I call it right in the middle, the right spot. You know what I'm saying? We had a little bit of grass in our front yard. We had a little bit of grass in our backyard. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful place. Now, the great thing about Laurelton, Queens is, I think growing up late 80s in New York, hip hop is booming. Everybody had their local neighborhood MC and DJ. And they would go around town and battle. They would go around Queens and battle. Then they would go to Brooklyn and battle. So our microphone master was a guy named Mikey D. And Mikey D is from Laurelton, Queens.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. And also, Paul C., rest in peace, lived in Laurelton, Queens. And we also had a 40-ounce beer spot called Pop Kim's, which Mikey D named his last album after. And we were known all over New York City to have the coldest 40s. And they kept it like right before freezing. I don't know how they did it, but that's how they did it like that. So people from all over, MCs from all over would come and get their 40s from Laurelton, Queens at a spot called Pop Kim's. Growing up there was beautiful. It was the block parties. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up late 80s, hip hop it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to get into hip hop. Hip hop was a part of us. Somebody in the crew breakdance, somebody in the crew did graffiti. We had a local beatbox. We had our rappers. We had, our DJs and stuff like that. So hip hop was just the life. It wasn't something you did. You didn't hear it on the radio. You had to get tapes from, other places and like really hear different MCs and stuff like that, and DJ contests on tape and stuff like that. But it was park jams we would go to, and Montebello Park would close down, and the Legends of Queens would be there, whether it be LL, Mikey D. Bismarcky would go everywhere. Bismarcky would be everywhere. He would stay around Laurelton, but it was just the greatest place in the world for me to grow up.
It sounds amazing. What you're describing, it's your life to everyone else listening in the world who didn't grow up in Queens. We're talking the foundations, legends.
Right. Definitely.
So when did you realize music wasn't just a thing for you? You became quite focused on it. You made your whole life around it.
Well, I in '88, my father had got a better job offer in Maryland, Prince George's County, Maryland. So he moved down, and me and my sister, we were like, "Yo, New York for life," and you know, I don't even know what Maryland is and stuff like that. So he left, and you know, got his job offer. My mother stayed; she was still in school and working, and was eventually going to move down. So when he left, I got into started hanging out with the wrong crowd, you know, and just hanging out in the corner and doing things that they do on the corner and stuff like that. So my mother said, "Hey, you know what? Uh, I'm sending you to Maryland with your father." And you know, I was like, "Oh man," you know. So I moved out here in Maryland, and I didn't have my crew no more. You know, I didn't. You know, you don't. It's not city. You don't take the bus everywhere, the train everywhere. It was different, and musically, it was different. They were definitely into a music called go go, and so I'm like, man, this is different. So I'm fresh out of New York, gold teeth, three finger rings, a rope chain, and starter jackets for every day of the week. And these people are looking at me like I'm crazy. So got into fights and stuff like that. And you know, it was just different. And my father, who was working two jobs at the time, he was like, look, you do honor roll, I'll get cable for the house. And this is back in the days when there was probably like 3 channels and then maybe 2 UHF channels. So he was like, yeah, you make honor roll, I'll get cable. So I made honor roll every time. I made honor roll, got done. My father said, all right, I know you're not into college, but if you take this to the next level, I will pay for your schooling. And I'm looking around, and I saw a brochure for Omega School of Recording, which is in Rockville, Maryland. And it was like, you can learn to be an engineer. You can learn to, you know, produce music and this stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, this is, you know, crazy. You know, I could do this and, you know, get credit as like I'm, going to school. And I said, this is what I want to do, Dad. He paid for it. So I became an engineer. I did a beginner engineer course. I did intermediate engineer course. And then I did advanced course. Killed it. And the teacher there saw my strive, and he said, "Hey, we're doing a new class next year, and I want you to be a part of because I see this in you, and it's called the music business course." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." And you know, once I got in there, I learned you didn't have to be a DJ or a rapper to be a part of this music business. And so many things that you can do. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. And learned so much, learned how to, you know, how records are distributed, how to break down, who you pay, your managers, so forth and so on. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So after I did that, I did an internship at a reggae record label that's no longer out here in Maryland called Rawkus Records, RAS Records. And this place would get 45s straight from Jamaica every Friday, like the new stuff. And my job there, my internship there was I had to mail out the records to the DJs. And I was, you know, dabbling with DJ at the time. And so as I'm dabbling out the records to the DJs, I made sure I dabbled it out to me too. I would mail stuff to me too. And I mean, this would be all of the newest stuff from Jamaica. So then I started making some reggae tapes, you know, back in the reggae tapes, and people would steal them. So I was like, all right, I'm on to something here. I'm on to something here. So after the internship was up, I got a job at a CD store, and you know, working around CDs, and you know, like as I'm doing this, I'm like, yeah, I'm really into this music thing, and I'm really, loving it. And I'm listening to music, like promos. We would get a batch of promos to play in the store. So I get a promo, um, called, what was it called? The Cleaner. And it was from a label called Rawkus Records that I had never heard of before. And it had Mos Def, Universal Magnetic, Shabam Sadiq, Reflection Eternal, Fortified Live. And I'm listening to this in the record store that I'm managing. And I'm like, this is bringing me back. This is like bringing me back to that feeling. This is around the time Puffy's watering down R&B, and Puffy and Jermaine Dupri's watering down music, and the radio's going crazy. So I'm like, I've not heard stuff like this in a while. And I got that feeling. I grabbed the CD, got the number from the back, called Rawkus Records at my CD store, and said, "Hey, I live in the DC area. Are y'all looking for reps? Because I could be a good rep." I would have did it for free. They were like, "Yes, we are. We'll give you the job. We'll pay you $500 a month, and what we want you to do is market. I do the major label stuff too, but this was an independent label, and what I learned, independent label, you have to do everything. So I had to do marketing, I had to do promotion, get play on the radio. I had to make sure all the stores was laced with our stuff, and I was like loving it. So 2 weeks after I got the job, the first record I worked was the Black Star album. Luckily, BET used to be down here. So 2 weeks in the job, they were like, "Hey, Mos Def and Talib Kweli and High Tech are coming to BET. We want you to take them around and take them around town." And I'm like, okay. Of course, nobody knew who they were at the time, but they're my heroes because I'm already listening to what they're doing. So I go pick them up from BT and take them to like restaurants, took them to a CD store.
Question is
Uh-huh.
is this after 45 Live, like the Reflection Eternal 12-inch?
Yeah, that came out before Black Star.
So they're just starting to bubble out.
Right. As a matter of fact, that was on The Cleaner, and that's how I learned about, both Kweli and Mos.
Yeah.
So they performed at BT with Common. I picked them up, take them around. We go to a record store. We go to a restaurant, and Rawkus, you had to do everything. So I had to get an interview on the radio, which is unheard of. You can't bring an independent artist to a radio show, a major radio show, is forget about it. Luckily, Big Tigger used to host a radio show down here, and I knew him from seeing him at parties and stuff like that. But I knew the thing about him is he loved to rap. So we don't have no appointment or nothing. I have Mos Def and Talib Kweli High Tech in the car, and we stop by PGC, and I see one of Tigger's boys downstairs, and I said, "Hey, yo, I've got Mos Def and Talib Kweli in the car. They want to do an interview. You think Tigger would do it?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "You got them?" He was like, "Yeah." So he went upstairs. They brought us upstairs. Artists thinking that I already had this set up at the time, and we go upstairs, and Big Tigger plays the record. I got a spin on a national radio show, and after they played the record, he was talking to them. He was like, "Yo, what's good with the freestyle?" So Tigger puts on the instrumental. I think it was Nas is like, it was something. This was before camera phones. This was before everything. I just had a disposable camera phone. They freestyled. Mos and Kweli freestyled everything that we had did that day. From the restaurant we went to, the water they was drinking at the restaurant, some of the streets that we passed. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And Tigger did good too. Tigger held his own. He used to love the freestyle. So I mean, it was just perfection that just happened all at once. And I got a picture from it. This is a fuzzy picture from when they were up there, but that changed my life. I was like, I'm in this 100%. Yeah.
How did it feel for you to hustle your way into this opportunity? It seemed very unlikely because you can't just roll up on a radio station. It seemed like your first time even in doing this job.
Right.
How did it feel to make it happen?
But I was so in awe of the freestyle that I didn't even, this was something that once we were in, this was something that was meant to be. I wasn't even thinking about, oh wow, I just made it up in here. We just made it up in here. It was just a perfect combination. Just, big up to Tigger. Matter of fact, I gave him I presented him with a Mos Def gold plaque when he was there, and I would just bless him. And anytime I saw him, I would just thank you. You don't even know that you just started my career. But like I said, they were independent, so they weren't even expecting anything like that. But like I was just in so awe of the freestyle rapping that I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I wasn't even thinking about we up in here. Yeah.
So what happened next for you?
Rawkus Records.
Okay.
Nervous, both of those were like dance labels. Nervous eventually signed Black Moon, Mad Lion, Smith and Wesson. So we were the first ones with that stuff. You know, we had to send them to record stores all over the world. Baltimore, when I first moved out to Maryland, you know, my family like, oh, you moving to Baltimore? Baltimore, DC, worlds apart. Music, food, everything. Baltimore has the Baltimore Club. DC has the Go-Go. They are worlds apart. This place, this distribution company put them kind of like both together. So I'm working there and I'm working at Rawkus. And as far as DC, that's like, to me, music locked down. Oh. So I know people that worked at Universal from the record store I had. They would come to my store and put up posters and give me tickets and, you know, glad hand me. Well, one of my friends was like, hey, MCA just bought Rawkus. We have an opening for the MCA rep here in this area. Would you be interested? And I was like, yeah, heck yeah. The person that was hiring the big boss used to come to my store and put posters up. Excuse me. You see that Erykah Badu?
Yeah.
That was the first Erykah Badu album. And when I was at the store and he was putting up that poster, I said, this is going to sell more than anything. Told my store manager, buy it, just buy it. My store manager bought more, so much of that he remembered that because he was a sales rep and he remembered how much Erykah they bought because of me. This is the guy that was hiring for me to come to Raw because this was already my friend. So as soon as I come to the interview, he asked me like 2 questions and he was like, man, you know, this is your job anyway. You got this anyway. So I'm like, you know, sweating, suit on. I was like, okay, man, this is good.
I like the way you're wearing a suit because, you know, you're a hip hop music marketing person, it's not like everyone was wearing a suit. So you were taking it seriously.
I was taking it this. I was like, I gotta have this. Rawkus?
Respect.
So he hires me. So I'm the MCA rep. Now, going from an independent to a major label is MCA at the time had Common, had The Roots, had a group called Black Alicious, had Mary J. Blige. Now, I also have to do MCA Rock. And, from working in record stores, I'm familiar, but not, as familiar as I think I should be. And, they got Blink 182. Oh my God, it's so many different artists. So I'm on my game. I'm like, and then, doing work and learning about people. And, like maybe for the first week, I'm just in there. So my boss comes up to me. He's like, yo, you're doing great. You're learning all your stuff, but you got to get out in the streets. Your job is getting out in the streets, going to all the record stores, making sure your product is seen, and making sure everybody that runs the record store, they know about your product coming out, and they, just like Erica Badu, you want them to order. And I was like, all right. So I'm in the car, and I was like, so my job right now is to go to every record store, and I'll put my product up, but I can get anything I want. That's what I'm thinking. So I started excelling at my job, and after the first year, they noticed out in LA and they needed a rep out there. So they were like, you're the number one rep. We want to move you from DC to LA.
Okay.
And
that's a real step up. I mean, you're hustling. I could tell throughout this whole story, you're someone who tries hard, like gives a shit, and you actually like the music, which is not everyone in the music industry, as you know. You actually care about the music.
and just remember that, because I'm working for MCA, loving it, loving everything that I'm doing, and I'm out in LA, and LA is just a different animal from DC.
Hell yeah.
LA, I threw a party. We threw a party for Erykah Badu's third album, and Prince came. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is
LA is different. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a different animal. So I'm like, oh wow. So I'm out there doing it, killing it. MCA as a label starts going down, 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 making bad decisions. Geffen took over MCA. Geffen is still holding on, doing good, but starting, the releases are starting to, I'm like, what are we doing here? Then something happened back in Maryland. There was a Maryland, DC area. There was a thing called the DC Sniper, and he hit in the car, and while his son would drive, and he would just go around shooting people on the DC Sniper. An incident happened. My kids were still here in Maryland while I was out in LA. An incident happened. A kid got shot, maybe 100 feet from where they live.
Crazy.
And I'm like in LA, I'm like, whoa, what's going on there? So I'm like, I like out here in LA. I'm an East Coast kind of guy. I got to find my way back. Universal Motown and Universal Republic was hiring back here in DC. A friend of mine told me that they were leaving and there was going to be a position open. Go back to DC, and I'm working for Universal Motown and Universal Republic. And, I'm back with my family. My blood pressure's lower. I'm not worried about nothing. I'm back home, and everything is great. So I'm doing that roster and going from Geffen, who's going down, to Universal Motown and Republic. Republic right now is the number one label in the world. So I basically started with them when they were on the come up. And Motown was still doing this thing at the time. Motown, they signed Kid Cudi. They were all over the place. Motown and Universal merged as a label. They had Badu. They were still doing good things, and they were still good releases. So I came back and did that. But then after a while, I always say the first soundtrack I worked when I went to LA was Brown Sugar.
Okay.
And so I got to see that movie before it came out on the lot. And, I had to work the soundtrack. But when I came back to DC, it felt like that was my life, especially with the Dalmatian MCs. Because then we started getting titles like Chicken Noodle Soup. You know what I'm saying? How am I gonna go to the store and yo, can you play this chicken this dance record? And Soldier Boy had something. We had a group that sang "Do That Batman." You know what I'm saying? And I'm like going to stores, getting clown, and I'm like, yo, this is like the Dalmatian MCs. You know, I'm not feeling this no more. And then eventually, uh, technology took over because people stopped worrying about the vinyl, the CDs, and the cassettes, and it was all about the streams. And I always thought, even back in the days, you got your streamer, you got your physical product. Both can exist in the world. But then they started, like, CD players started disappearing out of cars. You can't get a CD player no more. And it just seemed like the powers that be wanted to make sure you couldn't play stuff no more. And streaming was all it's about. And then they were like, hey, I was the last rep here in DC. They were like, hey, we could bring you to New York, but you won't get no pay difference. And this and that. And I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just gonna chill here. I'm gonna do my thing. And then it was over. It was over with the labels. I started getting some, like part-time work. People that remembered me from the labels, they were like, hey, I want you to be a road manager for artists like Sunshine Anderson and
Great artist, by the way.
yeah,
Forgot about. Yeah.
the
Good.
bomb.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And Case, there was this label called Verve that signed them. So I would do some off and on stuff. Then I got a job at the Hard Rock Cafe. It was like I was like, my pockets were like rabbit ears. I was like, yo, I'm doing too much. I got to get me a gig. So I got a job at the Hard Rock Cafe, which I hated. Hated every minute of it. Hated it. It was a restaurant, this and that. But I realized why I had to work there. It was because of the memorabilia. I learned everything about memorabilia. I learned how to take care of it. I learned, like, people would come in and what they would, we had Michael Jackson's jacket in Thriller. So, I mean, people would come up there, just to, like, they would want to just sit on the steps and just look at it. So I was like, oh, wow, okay. So I did 5 years there. And now, presently, to this day, my collection is my company, but I also work for the RIAA. A lot of people don't know that. I work for the RIAA, which is the Recording Industry Association of America. And they're located in the DC area. So just changed everything again. I'm back up again with some of the stuff. I can't really talk about what I do there because it's like piracy and secret stuff, but
Okay.
loving it, loving it.
You took what seemed like could have been a hard time. You're out of the music industry as everyone knew it kind of ended at that time. Many jobs were lost. And you and probably many of the people you know were kind of out of the job. And you found something that sparked an interest for you, sparked an idea. And you have started the Jay Stewart Collection. For our audience, explain what that is.
Okay, so during starting out working for Rawkus, Rawkus was an independent record label, so they overdid everything. Sending product, they would, I would get posters, just so many posters. I'm like, there's not even that many record stores. So they would send so much product. So what I would do was I would take some out for me, put it in storage. I like the artwork for Black Star. Let me grab a poster, put it away. I like Black Star, the album. I get the promo albums off the top, so unopened. So let me, put a few away for me. When I got to Universal, we had a storage unit after a while, after our offices closed. So everybody, Universal was so big. Not only did they have MCA, Universal, Motown, and Republic, they had Interscope, they had Def Jam, they had reps for these people, they had Disney, they had Verve. So we would have reps, and we would have, like a storage room with posters from every artist from these labels and this and that. So being the last rep at Universal, I was in charge of the storage. So they were like, before they let me go, they were like, do you want to keep the storage and pay for it? I was like, yeah, I'll keep the storage and pay for it. I still got some stuff in there. Forgot about it. Started working at Hard Rock, and I started watching Storage Wars. And I was like, yeah, I got a storage unit. It got like a lot of stuff in it. So I was like, whew, let me make sure this thing is up to date and that I'm paying for it, this and that.
So I'm just going to pause. Just for anyone who's international, Storage Wars is a TV show where essentially they have storage units and people bid on it. And, it's a TV show about finding crazy shit in a storage space. So you were watching this show, it inspired something, and
I was like, let me make sure it's up to date, and matter of fact, paid in advance. Because I don't want somebody paying $200 and getting like, it was crazy that everything was in there. So I was like, okay, I made sure everything was up to date, did everything. In 2020, I'm looking online, and there's a auction house called Sotheby's. And Sotheby's said, hey, we're doing a hip hop auction. And I'm like, cool. Nah, this is 2020. This is during a pandemic. During the pandemic, I didn't even know if I could get a haircut, if I could go buy groceries. So I was like, let me see what this auction is all about. We're doing bad right now, so whatever. That auction sold 123 units. They made $2 million. I said, what? So then I immediately went to my storage, took everything out, brought it in my house, and did an inventory. Inventory took a month. That's how much stuff I had. Inventory took a good month to do. So I was like, let me get all this stuff together, and I don't know if I'm gonna do Sotheby's, but maybe see something. I noticed in 2023 that they were doing it again. So I sent them a list of posters, shirts, just the posters, just the shirts, and like little, like, I got a Biggie Budweiser can. You know what I'm saying? Little stuff like that, little added value stuff where they would make that only the record label made, and they only made a certain amount. I sent them the list. They called me back in like 5 minutes, and they were like, "Yo, we want." I showed them maybe like I put like 100 things on it. I got like over 400 things of memorabilia, but I put like 100 things on it. They were like, yo, we want this. So I was like, time out. I was like, look, just pick 4 things this year, and then next year we'll talk about, doing more. So they picked 4 things. It was a 50 Cent poster that I still have right there. I had doubles up. I had doubles of everything that I sent there. And it was a Def Jam superhero poster. It was this Mos Def poster, which is canvas, the Wanted poster. And it was the Roots phrenology poster. And they were like, okay. I didn't even frame nothing. The Roots was already framed because I paid for it to get framed. And that was like $300, and I was like, "It's outrageous, these framing prices."
Yeah, it is.
Everything was just posters. They had my posters just up there. So they invited us to the party, and we go to the opening night party for the auction, and royalty Nas is there, Crazy Legs is there. You know what I'm saying? My stuff is right next to Tupac's stuff. And this was the auction where Drake bought the ring for Tupac that Kendrick didn't like. yeah. So his stuff was like right next to us. So I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Can you describe this ring that Drake bought? Like,
It looked like a crown. It was red, and it looked like a crown, like a king's crown. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll definitely send it to you.
So it was Tupac's ring, and Drake bought it. Okay.
And that's another funny thing, because during the auction, it was an online auction. So Tupac's stuff was maybe 4 ahead of mine. So the ring was priced at the auction price was set at like maybe like $300,000. So you got to watch everybody's bid go down. There's a time limit, and you got to watch it go down to 0, and you see who buys it. So we get to I'm itching at them. I was like, please get to mine. I want to see what. So they're selling the ring, and it goes like 400,000, like 500,000, 600,000, 700,000. I'm like, sheesh. So then the time went down, and then the time came back up, and it said extended. And then they go 800,000, 900,000. And then time goes down again, and it just goes to 0, and the thing sold for $1 million.
My God.
Yeah, it sold for $1 million. Like, and I'm sitting there watching. I was like, please, somebody pay $1 million for my stuff, please. But my stuff did good. I enjoyed the auction. Is one of the most exciting things that you can see, even if you don't have nothing a part of it. And Sotheby's is a place to watch. Like, I saw a Picasso selling there for like $14 million. It was one of the most exciting things I've ever seen in my life. So we did well on that. And then I'm like, hey, maybe I should start framing these posters. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else had like frame posters and stuff like that. And maybe I should, let some people in the DC area know, that I got some of this stuff. Maybe like frame posters and do a gallery type thing, which was cool. A friend of mine owned a company called Shaolin Jazz out here, and they were like, "Yeah, we got a gallery. You want to, frame some posters and let's put them up." I was like, "Cool." So then I'm like, "What frames do I get?" So I'm DC. They have free museums, and these are like some of the Smithsonian and stuff like that. They have some of the best museums. So I said, let me go to the portrait gallery. I went to the National Portrait Gallery. Let me just see what people are putting in frames. So I go to the National Portrait Gallery, and I just start looking at art, and I'm like, I saw Gordon Parks' picture, like a film, and a tear came out of my eye. It was such a beautiful piece. So I'm like, you know what? Yo, these posters are art. This is art. This is going to mean something to somebody. So let me not half-tail on this and get this right. So I go to Michael's and I'm like, yo, I got some posters, let me I want to see how they look framed. Uh can you custom frame for me? And they like, yeah, we can custom frame this. It probably costs like $500. I was like, what? So I was like, I'm still gonna get them framed anyway because in my future I'm gonna make stuff off this. So I said, just give me a second, let me walk around the store. I saw a frame that they used to sell at Michael's, they don't sell them anymore, that were perfect size for my posters, and it had a mat, and they fit the posters well. And they were sitting right behind me, and they were like $50. So I was like, yo, hold on, I'm gonna grab a few of these, do it myself, and see the reaction. And I had family over, so I did the 50. I did a De La Soul one, and I did the old dirty bastard, and I framed them and I put them against my wall. And I had family in town, and they came downstairs. I was like, "Yo, come check this out. What do y'all think of this?" And they were like, "Oh my god, I want that, this and that." And I was like, "That's the reaction I wanted." So I'm just gonna get frames like this. They all look uniform, and then I bought a bunch of frames. We did a gallery thing. It was a pop-up gallery thing. So many people came out. They were like, "Oh my god, how long is this going to be up?" I wasn't even selling nothing. I just wanted to show. So they were like, "Yo, how can I get this?" And I saw the reaction, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna start trying to get some gallery showings and be about that life and show these people the stuff." And I've done like maybe 5, 6 so far, and they've all been successful. And you know, one time there's a Bowie State, which is a HBCU out here in Maryland. They had just opened up their big gallery. It was like gigantic, and I had already stuff in this other gallery, but I have so much stuff that I filled their gallery too. And they just happened to be having like a hip hop conference, and they had Rock went to Bowie State. She teaches there now. Roxy Diaz went there. One of the mortgage guys that's at that thing in Atlanta, Earn Your Leisure, he was there. And he was the guy that, let me do the exhibit. He was like, I want you on this panel too. So I'm on the panel with these guys. And after the panel and this big conference, everybody goes to the exhibit. So we go to the gallery exhibit, and I'm like, yeah, this is my stuff. And there were people there that was 70. There's people there that was 7. And just all of them reacted like, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, I haven't seen stuff like this. And it was just a beautiful feeling. And, it just made me realize, this stuff is art. Stuff is, there's no more record stores like it used to be. People want to see this stuff. And they're not making, that much promotional stuff no more. So, yeah, it was very successful, these exhibits that we do. Yeah.
Oh, I think that's great because you're a music lover. You really love this shit. It's important to you. And you're a hustler. You work marketing and promotion for labels, independent labels, major labels. You did well as that. So all of that background, if you connect the dots, it kind of leads to this great idea. Plus working at the Hard Rock Cafe, which you hated, but you learned something there, right?
I had to learn about the memorabilia. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it also says something about you. You took all these things and you made something new out of it. So I want to salute you. And while we're on the topic, I have more to say about it, but
Yeah.
why don't you walk around, show us a few of the main items, and
Okay.
if you can just give a bit of a voiceover because some people are just listening versus
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this.
We're gonna walk with you, Jay.
Oh, you know what? You can't do it when you're recording.
Okay, what if you just hold the phone like that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay.
People are listening audio only anyways.
Okay. Working at an independent record store, independent record label called Rawkus, You remember I told you they would give us everything? They would give us so many posters and stuff like that. There was
Yeah.
a weekend where I was like, I saw a box in front of my house. I was like, oh my God, Rawkus is giving me more posters? And I went outside and opened it. And it was the Mos Def gold plaque. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm showing you a picture of a Mos Def gold plaque and a Big L gold plaque, which came eventually. And for independent record labels to get that, it's gigantic. It's gigantic from people to not even knowing their names to watching it become gold. And that came full circle for me. And I was like, wow, Rawkus is definitely the place. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
These right here are so rare. These are the Jay-Z Black Album Air Force Ones. The last pair that sold, they sold for like $10,000, I believe. These are rare, rare, rare. I was telling you about the Biggie can. In New York, did a promotion with Biggie, the Budweiser. I'm telling you, Budweiser does not do promotions with no rappers.
They don't.
So this is the notorious big Budweiser, the big can, and only sold in New York. So I'm thankful I got it. I'm gonna show you the top layer of posters and explain them. And I don't think these are leaving the house anymore. Some of these for gallery exhibits or anything. But this I just got last week. And it's the De La Soul Fader cover, and they autographed it. Not to mention they autographed it, but True Plug 2, Dave autographed it. And I had an autograph of De La Soul is Dead. I had all three autographs, and I lost that poster in a flood. So I didn't have Dave's autograph no more. And to run up on this was, I mean, like, wow. This is the first Erykah Badu poster ever made. And that was my connection with the guy that hired me for Universal. And it's very rare. This is a picture of ODB in his element. And I just love it. I mean, he got 40 ounces on the floor and weed guts on the floor. It's just ODB. He was one of my favorite Wu-Tang artists. This is the big Mos Def wanted poster for the New Danger. This is a canvas poster, very, very rare. Mos Def is, one of my faves since Rawkus. And then we got 50. And this was the one that sold at Sotheby's, unframed. And he was eating a gun, which is so cool. Just real quickly, this is one of one right here. This is the album. This is the unfolded album artwork of Jay Dilla's Welcome to Detroit instrumental. This is what they sent to the pressing plant to make the vinyl album covers. One of one.
That's crazy. And that is one of my favorite albums ever.
Definitely, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, when I worked at Universal, a lot of artists would come in from the different labels that I didn't work with. One of my friends from Def Jam brought Method Man in. And at my office, I had a train book because I used to do graffiti. Method Man was supposed to be doing something with retailers in there. He stopped at my desk, grabbed two Sharpies, a black one and a silver one, and did two trains.
That's
Himself.
so wild.
Straight marker. He didn't even use no pencil or nothing, did that. And his road manager was Power, the one who just passed away, who started Wu-Tang Wu-Wear. So I also had this on my desk. And this was my train when I was in Queens.
Can you move it a bit to the left just so we could see which station?
This way?
Oh, Jamaica. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the F train. And Meth signed this too. And I knew Power was his road manager, but I knew Power as an actor in Belly. Power signed that too. So rest in peace, Power. So I'm not going to kill y'all in the head.
No, I mean, that was amazing. I think for the people who could see it, super cool. People even hearing it, just to get a taste of these extremely important artists. And the reason why it's important is because in a way, it wasn't that long ago, but in a way it was. There are people who are 20 years old who this is all something that was before their time.
Right.
And it's really important to celebrate this because it should be treated as art. It should be in a museum. It should be at Sotheby's. It should be treated with the utmost respect because that's how I see it. That's how you see it. Just because it was in our lifetime, it doesn't make it any less.
Right.
And as time goes on, it's become more and more clear. So let's start now and treat this shit as like the highest level of respect.
Right. And I'm going to take it one step further. I used to DJ a lot of the organic soul stuff, you know, the Badus, the not gonna call it Neo Soul, Raphael Sadiq, don't say Neo Soul. And I think I did the first Neo Soul mix CD. I used to go by DJ YZO. And I did a CD called Home Cooking, which I love Blue Note records because I love the covers. So I grabbed the Home Cooking off Blue Note and just put the restaurant, and then I put my words on it. And it had D'Angelo, never heard before D'Angelo, and Bilal, and Badu, and India Ari. And I was working at the distribution place. So my job at the distribution place was calling record stores and, you know, asking them to buy stuff. So every record store that I had would buy a box of 30 of mine. So I would sneak it into the packages and sell it. So it got a little famous, but I stopped DJing when Seratos came out. I'm a physical music kind of guy. I still get vinyl every week. I still get CDs. Cassettes I'm getting into again. I still got some old cassettes that I got to listen to from back in the day, but I'm a physical. I stopped DJing when Seratos came out because it didn't feel right to me. It felt like if you give this tool to my mother in 30 minutes, she could be a masterful DJ. And there's nothing wrong with it. I know a lot of great DJs that use it, and they are great DJs, but I just didn't like the way it felt. It didn't feel like that vinyl on a turntable. So I basically stopped DJing. I'll still do like some vinyl sets, and I do know how to use it. So maybe every now and then I'll get on it, but it's all about the physical product. And when we took away the physical product, we took away the promotion for I mean, two campaigns that I am so impressed with are the Mass Appeal, the seven MC products with the Nas and Premier, and they did all that. And I'm so impressed with what's my guy's name? Jay he just did the
J. Cole?
J. Cole.
Yeah.
To go out of your car. Cause they were in Maryland. He sell CDs on the back of your car. The rollouts for those projects, it just took me to like back in the days. That's how you do it. Physical product. It's all about that physical product. Yeah, we did my conspiracy theory. Now, let me take a sip. This is my conspiracy theory.
Go ahead.
The next World War. Well, we're at war now, right? The next World War, they're going to take away our internet. They're going to take away our electricity. Not only are people not going to have records, CDs, they're not going to have books. They're not going to have pictures. Once they do that, the world is going to go crazy, and it's just going to, like, everybody's going to destroy everybody because they're not once they take that electricity and they take away that internet, what are you gonna do? I'm
Yeah.
gonna take my battery powered record player and I'm gonna be in here listening to record players, listening to CDs every night.
You're a physical media guy. I get it. I think that's
Yeah.
good. I wanted to keep going and get even bigger. I hope people could kind of learn about it from this show.
Right.
What do you want to do next with the collection?
I want to tour the world and show it any way I can. I want to tour the world and show it. I see my problem here is, I'll do some galleries around here, but sometimes I feel like I'm taken away from an actual artist. And I have respect for the, actual artists and up and coming artists that want to do stuff. Like, have big respect for that. So I don't want to step on people's toes. So there's stuff that I don't even enter, but I just want to show it around the world. I want to tour it around the world and show it because it could be like I changed this around maybe like every 3 months. This is a whole different place. You know what I'm saying? I could, like, if I showed you how many posters that I have to frame, there's hundreds, if not thousands. So I just want to be able to show it and just show it around the world.
Yeah. I think that's great. I think you'd have many fans who listen to the show. I feel like you're onto something.
Thank you. Thank you.
For our next segment of the show, it's everyone's favorite segment. It's called Drop a Gem on 'em. It's a word association game. I'll name an artist, a song. You tell me what comes to mind. It could be a feeling, experience, a personal anecdote, really anything. It could be places, spaces. And yeah, let's see what comes up. You have really great taste. So I'll go deep on this one. All right.
Okay.
You're from Queens. For whatever reason, I think of this as a Queens record. Kenny Burke, Rising to the Top.
That's the Queen's anthem. That's the Queen's anthem. Growing up in Queens, there are two DJs that made me want to become a DJ. One is Jam Master Jay. One is a DJ named Grandmaster Vic from South Jamaica, Queens. Grandmaster Vic, um, there's debate. I don't care what anybody says. Grandmaster Vic invented the blend. To be a DJ in Queens, you had to learn how to blend. If you did not know how to blend, you will get beat up. You will not get invited to DJ no more. You had to blend a cappella with an instrumental, and it had to be on point. It couldn't be messed up. And he mastered that. He made the mixtapes, the blend tapes back in the days, and I'm contacted him on I contacted him on IG and told him that him and Jam Master Jay, were my heroes. And he hit me with a post. He went to school with Jam Master Jay for maybe like one day because he said he used to get suspended all the time. And there's like a tape of them two like DJing together. I was like, what? So Keep Rising to the Top is the Queen's anthem. If you hear that anywhere in Queens, people will start dancing. There was a very important mall called the Coliseum that just closed down last week. I couldn't get up there because we were doing a surprise birthday party for my mother here, but they closed the Coliseum down and they had a big party out there. And I mean, if you play Keep Rising to the Top, everybody will tell you that's Queen's anthem. I love that song. It's just R&B at its finest.
Yeah, it's a great song, sampled many times, and yeah, I like the way it's always been thought of as a Queen's anthem, and you explained a little bit about why. I never really knew why. I just associate it with people in Queens like this shit. I appreciate that history.
But Grandmaster Vic made that he would play it all the time. He um he would play that all the time, and he kind of made it he kind of made it big through Queens, and it just stuck.
Yeah.
It definitely it just stuck. And even Kenny Burke will tell you that will be like, yeah, Grandmaster Vic, he's one of the persons that made this song like great. Like he would just play it.
Next record, mainly because of the shirt you're wearing.
Uh-huh.
MOP Salute Part 2 featuring Gangstar.
I love MOP.
Yeah.
Love MOP, love Gangstar. As you can see, I love MOP. But Gangstar really helped MOP you know, MOP to me without Gangstar would have robbed everybody. They would just they would just be Brownsville robbing anybody. Thank God they made Gangstar. MOP lyrics are slept on. The lyrics are so deep. Their beats are so great. I love MOP, love Gangstar, love everything about them. They're so grimy and like they could perform at the White House and then leave and then drink a 40 on the corner and just everything is normal.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, they're the most hardcore group out there. I love the way they produce their own stuff. That song was produced by Premier and also massively original. The fact that this is a group that had their own sound and no one is sounding like that. And I love that. I wish it was always, I wish originality was more of a big deal. MOP, most original.
Right.
Next song, Big L, Ebonics.
Mind blowing. My one of my favorite artists is Nas. For Nas to say when he heard Big L, he said, he got to step his game up. Um, that's like Ebonics. I mean, Big L was an unbelievable rhymer, but to break down language, to break down street language in a record is something that's unheard of. Like,
Yeah.
it's unheard of, and to master it the way he did, he killed it. But Big L was that dude. Life cut short, too early. I mean, he was that dude. And when they told us that we got his last record at Rawkus, I was like, yes, this is it. I can't wait to hear it.
Okay. Next record. You spoke a lot about your time with Rawkus and Mos Def. I'll say one of my favorite Mos Def songs, Mathematics.
That's Primo again.
Yeah.
Primo again. Black on Both Sides is one of the greatest albums ever made.
Yeah.
I remember, after Black Star, they said, we're coming out with a Mos Def album and we're coming out with a Pharoah Monch album. And Pharoah Monch from Queens, he's one of my. I already knew Pharoah Monch. I knew Mos Def from working at Rawkus, just starting. But from what I heard, I knew his album was gonna be crazy. Mathematics is Primo at his finest, Mos Def at his finest, and one of the greatest songs ever made. I mean, what can you do? For me to get a gold record on that album, everything on there, I love. That was my first gold record too.
You were a part of something great.
Yeah.
Next song. And this is a song that I slept on and rediscovered years ago, but I'll just say it's insane. Give 'Em Hell by Prodigy and Alchemist off the Albert Einstein album.
I had the I had the poster. I had the poster for that album at an auction, and I was being sweet and fancy. I was like, ain't nobody gonna buy it. And somebody bought the poster, and I was so pissed. And that album, that that whole experience made me. I'm treacherous on the auction blocks just because of that album. I will not rest no more. I will never sleep on something. I'm just gonna get it. I'm just gonna be aggressive because I lost that. I had the poster. I'm like in my head. I'm gonna wait and get it, and got the frame for it already. But uh, Alchemist is magic. Alchemist with Prodigy was next level magic.
Yeah. Yeah. We're talking the highest level. That song, one of the greatest rappers ever, one of the greatest producers ever, and just like a perfect match.
Yeah.
And the way that Prodigy goes in on that crazy beat, that beat is really unusual.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it is magic. I mean, I don't have the words beyond that. It is a fantastic song. I love it. I love it. The Learning, aka Burn, off of Mobb Deep's Infamy album.
Hold on. I know your people's gonna you see that right there?
Oh yeah. Can you move it a bit to the right? Infamy poster. Crazy.
Yo, I almost had to give somebody a back rub to get that poster. It's like one of the hardest posters to get. But that album, the whole album, that was when I first met them. And uh I still got a picture with them. And I met them when they did that album. But like I said, I'm a especially them being from Queens, I'm a whole album type of dude, and I love that whole album. And for me to finally get that poster, it was I got that after the whole Alchemist
Yeah.
Prodigy situation,
Yeah.
and I did not mess around. I was like, you know what, give me that. I don't even care. So I Mobb Deep is a group. Mobb Deep is a group that is so special to me. There a lot of people are not up on their first album, but they had a song on their first album called "Hit It From the Back." They filmed the video across the street from my old house in Lowellton, Queens.
Crazy.
And yeah, I had moved down to Maryland and saw the video. I was like, that is across the street from my house. So they always special to me. And that album, the whole Infamy album, I loved it.
The Roots Phrenology album, The Seed 2.0.
You know what's crazy? I think I had the most memorabilia from the Roots, and um I was a rep that I never got into my artist business. Whenever we worked, we had to work. They would be like, "Good job." Then that's it. I would contact them too much afterwards. But when I was in LA, did a lot of stuff with the Roots, and they would do Halloween parties at the House of Blues every year, and they would dress up like one year they dressed up as NWA, and one year they dressed up as different people. Uh, Black Thought was Barry White, and like they would dress up. But I never forget the Halloween, one Halloween year when Phrenology came out, and I got to hang out backstage with them, and I got to meet Cody Chestnut, and he autographed his post. He had a poster he got autographed this for me, and he's Cody Chestnut was gigantic in LA, like gigantic. So that's what that brings me back to, that Halloween night where I met Cody Chestnut, the seed, and all of that.
Cody Chestnut is an underground legend. You know,
Yeah.
he's so original. You listen to lyrics, you're like, man, this guy's really on some shit.
Yeah.
And I love that record, the Seed 2.0, and I love the original Cody Chestnut. He had an album called Headphone Masterpiece.
I got that autograph. I got an autograph version of the
Good
poster.
album, right? It's a good album.
Yeah.
And it's massively lo-fi. I believe he recorded it in his bedroom, and it sounds amazing. Yeah. He's one of those artists I'd love to hear more from. I know a lot of time has passed, but he's got such a great voice, such a great songwriter.
Definitely.
Black Star, we've already discussed. I'm going to name one of my favorite Black Star songs, Little Brother from the Hurricane soundtrack.
That was the Dilla joint, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Well, anything Dilla does, I'm down with. But I love that. You know what? The Hurricane album wasn't the when soundtracks were good, the Hurricane album was pretty cool. But
okay, I'll check for it.
The Jay Dilla's a master. Quickest story ever.
We got time for long stories too.
Okay.
Bro, take your time.
This is a story I don't think I've ever told anybody about, except for my boy who got it. When I first got the job at Universal doing MCA here, new reps would get to go to LA and go through the labels. New reps would get to do that. I got to, they usually within 3 months get to do it, but I did it in my first week. So my first week with the company, they flew me out to LA. It was called Camp Universal, where the younger reps come and they get to see what's really going on. So it took me to the Universal offices, where the Universal Park is. I was like, hey, cool. Then they took me to MCA. MCA offices, one of the heads of urban music was Tim Reed's brother. The actor, Venus Flytrap.
I don't remember it, but
Venus Fly. Well, he was in Sister Sister. He was the father in Sister Sister. His name is Tim Reed.
Okay.
I think it was his brother. Was head of urban. So I walk into the office. He's like, "Yeah, I'm from the DC area, this and that," and we giving each other 5. I'm like, first time at a record label. I'm brand new, this and that, at a major record label, it's brand new. So he was like, "Sit down." So I sit down, and I look on his desk, and it said Jay Dilla's demo. Now I was a Dilla fan since J88. I was like early. So I'm like, holy shit. So he was like, what's wrong? I was like, is that Jay Dilla's demo? And he looked at me, he was like, yeah, you heard of Jay Dilla? I was like, yeah, I heard of Jay Dilla. So he was like, I like it. Questlove is really on me on this, but I don't know, it's too weird for me. I was like, are you, I'm sitting there like, I couldn't say, are you crazy? This big guy. So I was like, wow, okay. So from us meeting on, I did not hear anything he said. I'm trying to think of a way that I could steal this tape. I just steal this tape out off of his desk, and I couldn't stop looking at it. I was like, holy cow. I mean, like, y'all gonna sign Dylan? What's going on? But he was like, But that was a true story. And then they didn't sign her, and then that ended up being Rough Draft. That's what that ended up being.
That's so crazy. Rough Draft is one of my favorite albums of all time.
Definitely.
Yeah. Next record, 10cc, the worst band in the world. Speaking of Dilla.
I was out in LA when Donuts came out. I stood online at Amoeba records used to come out on Tuesday morning. I stood out line I worked for MCA Records. I stood online at Aviva to get donuts. Every beat on donuts, my DJ self would try to get every record that he sampled, or at least try to find it. And I got that on vinyl, and I'll play it. I'll play it every now and then, but I don't. I never opened the donuts. I never opened the donuts. I get records I don't never open them because I'll get the CD and play it, or now that we got. I don't. I work for the RIAA. I work for all these labels. I don't have Apple Music. I don't have Spotify. I don't have Tidal or whatever. I don't have Amazon. I still, if I want to hear something new, I'll go to YouTube and hear it. I guess that's cool in a way, but I couldn't wait to get every record on Donut. And when I got that and saw how the band looked, I was like, Dilla's crazy.
Yeah.
Dilla's crazy to hear that from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Next record, Keep It Rollin', Tribe Called Quest featuring Large Professor, off the Midnight Marauders album.
I'll tell you, that's my favorite Tribe Called Quest song.
Good taste.
And it might change. It might change.
I mean, favorite is favorite. No one, it doesn't have to be justified.
It's my favorite, but we're gonna take it full circle.
Okay.
My first favorite artist is Stevie Wonder. Second favorite artist was Roy Ayers. So Roy Ayers sample for one. Two, Lost Professor names Grandmaster Vic in that album, on that song. Grandmaster Vic, he's F those two DJs.
You make it all make sense to me now.
I'm checking out this Grandmaster Vic blend from the projects, the PJs, F them two DJ. Yeah, his name's Grandmaster Vic, and for Large Professor to name a DJ, and the DJ that got me started to do it, I never forget hearing that song, and being from Queens and being out here, I was like, yo, this is Queens out. Yeah. So that's my favorite Tribe Called Quest song.
You've just explained something that I just took for granted. That song's been out for 20, 30 years. I was like, one of my favorites too. It's like, oh, that makes sense now. Thanks, man.
Yeah. A Roy Ayers sample, and to name the DJ that started, I just connected with that song immediately. Yeah.
Okay. Next artist, Nonchalant, song 5 o'clock.
That's my homegirl. I met Nonchalant out here. That's my homegirl. My boy who from Queens, when that song first came out, he played it to death. And there's a similar Kid Cudi story with me with that. But he played that song to death to the point I was like, look, I don't want to hear it no more. You playing it too much. So I moved out here. I got a chance to meet her, and we bonded like this. That is my homegirl. And then I got a snippet tape. It's Nonchalant and it's Heather B.
Okay.
And she does so much in the DC area for up and coming artists. So she did this thing called it's like a record pool, but for newer artists, she just gets them on and they do that thing. And for one of her big record pool things that she did around here, I gave her a prize to whoever wins would get a tour around the RIAA. And she just thought that was the greatest prize ever. And when she got in there, and when the artist, I gave her a tour first, and she was like, I got to be down with this place. I got to be down. So when the person won and they gave him a tour, I mean, their mind was just blown. But that is a my homegirl, a good friend, and whatever she does is greatness to me. Yeah.
Yeah, that song goes hard. Next record, 1+1, Large Professor featuring Nas.
I used that song. I used that song. God, I forgot where I used it, but like just like combinations with Extra P and Tribe, anything that Nas and Large Professor do is, it, you know, they could burp on a record and it'd be one of the greatest records. So, um, do no wrong. That's Queens. Queens gets the money. So, yeah.
Absolutely. You mentioned Kid Cudi earlier.
Uh,
I understand you did some work with him.
yeah.
Tell me about what comes to mind when I bring up the world famous Kid Cudi.
This is another story. I've my boy in Philly. He was one of my boys. His name is Ben One. He was the Def Jam rep, and he stayed in Philly. So our territory was Philly, um, Pittsburgh, Maryland, Virginia, DC. So I would go to visit him, and I went to visit him like weekends, and I would go to retail in Philly and do all that good stuff. So he had a studio. He's a big time producer now. He produces for the Roots and P Crack and Bombardier. He's doing big things with them. So I went out there and he was like, "Yo, I got this new artist. I got the mixtape. It's called Kid Cudi." And he played day and night at least 108 times.
I love that song. I
He
love
was like, "This is the great." To the point where I was like, "Oh my God, if you play this song one more time, I'm gonna lose it." So I went home that Monday and had a conference call at the label. And they said, "Hey guys, guess what? We just signed Kid Cudi." And I was like, "Oh my God." But when we signed him, they gave me the whole album. So I understood it. I understood it. And I said, this is, when De La Soul came out, hip hop was hard. You know what I'm saying? And I said to myself when I heard the whole album, I said, this will have the reaction. Like, nerds love De La Soul. You know what I'm saying? And even Hard Rocks loved it too. But hip hop was so hard back then. It was like, who are these guys and daisies and stuff like that? But they still rock. Kid Cudi was like that. I said Kid Cudi will not only grab the hip hop crowd, he will grab the people who are afraid to embrace hip hop. And that's what this album does. And I got a watermark album with my name on it that I got graded from one of the grading companies, and they were like, "This is 101. We have never got a watermark CD." So I got that, and I did a recent auction with Wax Poetics. Big up to Wax Poetics, where I had 3 limited edition tour posters that we got when we first started working with him. So and now he's doing art. Like he's doing art. I saw recently like where they post the bills like outside the street teams that use the roller. They had his artwork on it. I saw people ripping it down, taking his artwork down because they was just gonna keep it. And I was like, that's that feeling right there. Like if you got physical product, that's that feeling. So and he's touring again. So it was full circle with Kid Cudi, but that Man on the Moon, it changed me. I had, thank God I listened to it because I swear he played it so much. Excuse me.
Day and Night was dope, and it was the kind of song that you would put on repeat.
Yeah.
And it was hot for a minute, and then he got signed, and then he blew up, and then he blew up like crazy. So let's just say this guy had star talent, and he's a star. I mean, that's what he
Blew up
is.
crazy and it was multi, it was the posters, it was the fashion, it was a movement. It was a movement.
Yeah. He had the whole package.
Because he used to work at the Bathing Ape store in New York.
I know.
So it was
Just a guy that was around, happened to be a superstar just waiting for his shot,
acting. He's an actor.
Yeah. Next record, Mad Villainy, off the Mad Villainy album, Great Day.
My favorite artist is MF Doom. That album, the whole album probably changed my life. Like I have the ultimate box set, and MF Doom changed my life, kind of like how Dilla did. The way he reinvented himself, the way the way he marketed himself, the many names, the mysterious, the whole thing. Doom is to be studied. Like Marvel Comics didn't mess with nothing. I have the Dr. Doom #1 comic, and Doom's lyrics are on the first page. And that's how much he influences people. And then also, full circle again, Madlib is second to Dilla to me.
Yeah.
That's a Stevie Wonder sample, The Great Day. So my favorite artist. And a sample from Stevie Wonder, what more can you do? And I literally play that. So if I'm having a bad day, if I do a post because I had a great day, I'll use that. It just it's a whole mood thing for me. But yeah, another album where I stood online outside of Amoeba to get.
It's one of the greatest albums of all time. And just
Definitely.
to see it's more popular today than it was when it came out. And I love that. There are teenagers who love that shit now. MF Doom is more popular today than he was when he was alive. I mean, that's not great, but I'd rather have him be popular now than never, right?
Right.
And about Doom specifically, since starting this show, I've interviewed people a lot involved with Doom. People have written biographies of Doom. The guy named Skiz, great author.
Yeah, I met him. I got him to autograph my book.
Oh, great. Okay, so he was one of my first guests. Great guy.
Yeah, and the book is holding up the phone right now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that book, I learned a lot because Doom is massively mysterious and his life was really insane. Really insane. It's stranger than fiction.
Right.
And him as a person made the greatest comeback in music history. I cannot think of someone who was so down and out. His brother passing away. I mean, KMD, great group. They were not that popular. Right. They're not as popular as Doom.
Right.
So this guy went from a relatively obscure 90s act with, let's say, one pretty big song, some good features, but rap was not that big back then. We're talking 91, 92. And for him to go away, and he went to some not so great places when he was away.
Right.
And to make this come, it's amazing. I mean, I can't get over it sometimes.
And it's crazy. Like Doom gets a pat. Doom was using Spider-Man early. You're not like you would like. You don't mess with Marvel.
Yeah.
It's whatever. It like. I tell everybody this. I'm gonna stop telling people this, but use it as you may. Anything that you see with Doom, buy it. Because when Doomsday come out for the Avengers, yesterday's prices and today's price with the Fat Joe thing. When this Doom thing comes out, it's gonna be bigger than what was the big villain? Thanos.
Yeah.
This is going to be Doom is going to be heralded as a king when this. They have to have his music in a movie or something. It's people appreciated what he sampled Sade. You know what I'm saying?
One of the most popular songs too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it sounds dope. I mean, just sounds
yeah.
dope. I love the
Yes,
Sade song and I like the Doom song as well.
yes.
You know, it was crazy. The late night BET show that came after BET After Dark. And it was like a jazz show.
Okay.
And when I was a kid, I didn't like this jazz show. First of all, I was wrong, but they had like, let's say, adult contemporary jazz show, and it had like a theme song with a guy on a beach playing the saxophone. And I listened to a lot of the Doom, just the beat tapes. It's one of
Uh,
those names named after a spice. I was like, I know this sample. What is this sample? And you could look up anything now. And it was the BET jazz theme song. Like
wow.
he sampled that and made something ill out of it.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
this guy is the best. And it is so crazy. He's so dope.
yeah, yeah.
You have a great year. So what is your perfect listening session when you're enjoying all of this great music?
Uh-huh.
What is your zone? Describe that to me.
Um, whew, it's crazy. With the RIAA, I have to listen to music. I have to listen to the new releases. I have to listen to music all the time. So, it kind of like, I guess when I'm driving, that's me. That's, whatever I want to do. And I'll grab like, my dream is to like every day, like grab a new CD and take it in the car and go around and, something I haven't heard. And I have millions of CDs in that closet too. So my goal is like, um, retirement and all that is just grab something new every day because these platforms, the Spotify, they don't have every piece of music. And I got I have so much promotional stuff. I used to be a sales rep at Universal, and I would order vinyl because I have vinyl accounts that and just like the Rawkus Records, one for you, one for me. So stuff that's not even open. So my dream, when I'm not, once all of this stuff is done, is to just grab something new every day and just relive it and just bring back that feeling. Music is therapy. Music is very therapeutic. So um, you could play something and it'll bring you back to whatever was going on during that time. So I just want to drive every day, put a CD in, and just bring back the memories of what that meant.
Well, I see nothing but good things for you and your collection and your life. You have such great taste. You're such a hustler. And I wish you nothing but the best. I appreciate you being on the show, brother.
Yo, thank you. Thank you for doing this. And thank you for having me on, man.
Of course. Peace, Jay.
All right, peace.
Just give me 30 seconds of your time. Firstly, a huge thank you for checking out the show. This started off as an idea in my mind. To see the growth and the support from the beat digging community from around the world has been fantastic. Secondly, if you support what we do here, take a moment and join the 19% of listeners and subscribe on this app. It makes a huge difference. And my promise to you is to grow this show to make it even more of what you love, more guests, more interesting conversation, more beat digging knowledge. We appreciate your support. Peace.